So, hi, greetings. So, today I want to speak about what it is to be a sorcerer or a witch. I'll see you shortly. So, welcome back. My name's Sage. I'm from Karnak Holistics, where we learn together and we grow together in the sight of God. So, today I've got my notes. I wanted to speak about something that's quite dear to my heart and something that's been playing on my mind for the last couple of weeks or so. And I wanted to title it The Journey of a Sorcerer or a Witch and where you arrive at that point. So basically, I just wanted to it kind of entails or entwines with a change in some ways, where I've been really reflecting on my ancestors and really, obviously, with it being Black History Month or just finished Black History Month, really looking at my ancestors, and my altar is also focused upon. It's an ancestral altar. I specifically wanted it that way because it encompasses all of my element of me spiritually. Now, there's many different altars and how you do things, and I may do a video based upon that. But today, I just want to speak about being a sorcerer or witch, and some points I wanted to cover, which is kind of important. I felt was important anyway, in order to follow your path. I'm going to touch upon the elements, and I'm also going to touch upon finding your own way and being the true you, or in incorporating and trying to understand who the new you is. So first of all, I want to start with basically finding your way, and now how to use how to use the letter, how to follow the path. So when I realized, or I came empowered into my own self and what I was about and what kind of work I was to do, and I find what a witch is, or a sorcerer is a being, or like a shaman, or a creative energy that uses the elements and the earth in order to help fellow man, or to use the element. That's where the power within that particular energy, or the particular element, or that spellcaster grows from. They use the fat of the land. There are many different types of witches or sorcerers out there, from divination witches to down to ritual witches, and so it ranges. With me, I'm a divination, also sorcery witch. So I kind of cross barriers. So I do a lot. Obviously, I'm a tarot reader, and I also tap into spirit. But I'm also independent from any coven or kind of organization. But I follow the path and keep the code correctly. And that's the important part, is keeping that code correct and sticking to your own ways of building and transitioning into the next level, and moving from the old path to the new path, and growing and expanding, which in your journey, your spiritual journey. Now, when you first start out, you can start out by following a particular type of form of which is beliefs, and it ranges. There is no real cleansly way, because the saying is the witch is a person that uses natural elements or natural earth in order to help their fellow man, or for the human being. So the element of, you can, for example, if you've got an interest in it, sometimes if you land upon videos like this, is that it's kind of touched upon you, that this is kind of your journey. So if you come into this and you're not sure where to go, one of the biggest things you can do is kind of align yourself with either joining a coven, joining, reading up on Wicca or witchcraft, also looking up on what we can look at YouTube and places like that in order to get an understanding of what you're about. There are also herbal witches which look at herbs, flowers, and things like that that uses that element in order to cast spells and so on. But one of the key important things as well, you need to learn to cast that sacred space in order for protection, in order to do your ritual, in order to keep you safe. The other point is find your way of doing it. Find what is important to you, which you feel comfortable in being this witch, which is encompassing all of where you are. So you may have come from a different religion background and you may move it in, but yet you want to move away from that, but you are arriving at a different point within your life now. Like for me, I'm following the old ways of the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, and I'm starting using a lot more of organic life and looking at the Egyptian Book of the Dead and things like that in order to really understand what the Egyptians were about, and also learning from what's been passed down throughout the centuries, because it's still an element that's still there. But using the elements is so important. So there were 4 elements. Actually, there is 3. Well, there's 4. So you've got fire, earth, and also water and air. And these elements are sacred in your practice. That is something you should get under your belt, really understand it, and really know it like second nature. When I cast my sacred spell, even if I'm doing a reading or if I'm just working with a client, I will cleanse the room and I will create a circle of fire. So when that client comes in, they're safe, and I'm safe to kind of open up that space in order to keep them spiritually, physically, and emotionally safe. The other point is which kind of sorcerer and respect nature and the expansion of yourself. So respect yourself and follow your gut, what you feel is right about your development and what type of sorcerer or witch you want to be. Don't just follow because someone else is doing it, you want to go down that line, because in order to cast a good spell or a good circle is intention, and intention, especially with the spells, intention is so key. If you don't have the true pure intention behind it, you're going to struggle. You're really going to struggle. And this is why you've got the old way, the old books, and you've got the old spellcasters. You've got spells from different walks of life that exist, and you may be drawn to be using those. But the reality is, you should try and look at if you can resonate with those. That's really cool. But there's nothing stopping you from using the elements or using yourself and creating your own spell in order to make your spell happen, especially if you're working for somebody or working with someone. The other point I wanted to point out is just follow your instincts. Your instincts are more than likely right. And as I was said about the ancestors, there's a beautiful saying which my son put up, and I kind of like gonna just put up in a minute. He says, "No one cares about your efforts, only your results." Now that's so true, because people would only see the effects of your growth, and they would never see how you are right now in this point. They would not be, you would not really want to identify with your expansion, your how you root yourself and how you're developing. So I said to him, I responded to my son and said, like, yeah, but those who do kind of get involved and support you while you're in your journey, i.e. mentors, whatever, or just family or friends, they're the ones you should keep close. And it's like, that's what your journey is there for. It's also to assess the people around you, especially when you're finding your ancestors. And as a witch or as a sorcerer, your journey can be a lonely one sometimes, because, you know, there's history of lynchings or killings of back in the old days. And I remember going out to Wales a couple of years ago, and really getting to where the Salem was, and really getting back to what Welsh witches were about, and meditating out there, then going off to Glastonbury, meditating out there, and really connecting with my spiritual forefathers in that sense. But there's also my bloodline, obviously, is Egyptian, but I'm talking about the spiritual forefathers, the ones who've done the practice before me, the ones that have done that path or tread that path. There's a beautiful saying I learned when I was learning to meditate, and each meditation you do, if it's taught by somebody and it's taught by somebody else, imagine it being a pathway, and whoever's taught that before, that pathway's been smoothened, that road's been smoothened, or that field has been smoothened, so you can walk on it and you don't have to hurt your feet. So that's why they say it's always kind of good to work with somebody or something which has done that path before or has done that types of meditation before, because it's kind of like smoothing the way of transition or how you would do that particular work. For me, when I kind of really accepted that I was a shaman, it's really kind of funny because I'm trying to put a label to it all. People want to put you into little boxes. They want to say he's a tarot reader, he's a healer, he's a Reiki master, he's a astrologer, he's all these things. But yet you've got shamans, sorcerers, witches that sometimes cover every facet, yeah, but specialize in certain areas. It's like someone may study law but only specialize in criminal law, or specialize in conveyancing. Some may study medicine but only look at dealing with heart. And this is what I mentioned again, back to yourself, or really following your instinct and following your heart chakra, and really understanding what you are and what you want to do, and not what other people are out there doing, because their journey is not the same as yours. So that's me about a sorcerer and witches. And obviously Samhain's just happened, Adam's Eve, Skyforks tomorrow. And so stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video. Namaste, and look after yourself. And one more thing before I go. I know all this lockdown business is going on. Try to reflect upon yourself and where you want to be after this whole lockdown has happened. So on that note, stay blessed and stay safe. Namaste.